Matt Hardy has addressed Jeff Hardy's arrest and personal issues. We've got another update on Sasha Banks' WWE status, and Dixie Carter is returning to Impact Wrestling for Slammiversary, so stay tuned. So just to catch you up, in case you're unaware of what's gone on, Jeff Hardy this week was arrested, 3 charges, the biggest of which a DUI. He is currently out on bail, awaiting various court dates, upcoming court dates. And Matt Hardy has acknowledged this on Twitter this week, but he's gone into a bit more detail about the situation that Jeff has found himself in, talking on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast. Matt discussing the situation. What did he say, Andrew?
He said, after speaking to Jeff the last couple of days, he is so remorseful, so embarrassed, he hates himself. That's a part of it too. He has to know, obviously what he did was atrocious and terrible decision making, but he has to know that people love him. It's very important. At the end of the day, it all comes down to the individual. You have to keep yourself in check and be on top of yourself. You are the only person that can really ensure that you're not going to go awry or in a bad direction, whether it's because of mental or addiction issues. If you don't decide to do it on your own, you're going to kind of half-arse it and you don't get any positivity or productivity out of it. And I think that's a fair point. I think from what I've heard from people that I personally know that have suffered from addiction and stuff before, it's very much a case of you have to do it for yourself rather than sort of, it sounds selfish, but I think that's the only way to really kind of get over it, is to do it for yourself rather than for others. And
I think you need to want that help for it to be effective. If he were to go to rehab and not want to be there, the likelihood is statistically that it's going to be unsuccessful. And I've said this all week, I really hope that he gets the help that he needs. It's so important that he does so. I also still hope that he's punished for his actions and putting other people at risk. But from what Matt said there, he says he's remorseful, he's embarrassed, he hates himself. That's obviously gutting to hear, but it's an understandable reaction to doing something so serious. We do love you, Jeff.
We do. We love you so much.
Saying. He doesn't need to be doing the stuff that he's been doing in the ring. Maybe some of the blame there lies on Tony Khan. That's up for debate as well. But certainly if the pain that he's going through, either physically or mentally, has led him to do something like this, then it's time to step away. It's time to get help. And I really, really hope that he does receive that. Some really heavy words there from Matt. We'll keep you updated on that. Obviously, legal proceedings are currently underway. We don't know what's going to happen. There is a realistic chance that Jeff might end up in prison for this. That might be the best thing for him.
I think some sort of repercussion, because sometimes fines just aren't enough, are they? They're easy to often pay out. Maybe
finding a rich person isn't punishment.
Exactly.
It doesn't make fines only work if the person doesn't have any money. Jeff Hardy is a millionaire, so a fine isn't punishment. I think he maybe needs to have his freedom taken away from him, give him time to think, and then give him time to get help. And I hope he can get that help wherever he ends up. Next up, an update on the Sasha Banks situation. So it was reported earlier this week that Sasha Banks is gone from WWE. Apparently her lawyers had been doing their thing to get her out of her contract. Apparently that was successful. We haven't had confirmation from WWE yet, but WrestleVotes, who have been really, really reliable, have weighed in on the situation. The word backstage from SmackDown tonight is that the report from Raj Giri is indeed accurate, according to multiple sources. Sasha Banks has been released from her WWE contract. If this has happened, I feel like this is going to go one of two ways from WWE. Either they won't acknowledge it at all, and she'll just pop up in AEW on Star Wars or whatever. I don't watch it. Or they will wait until her contract was meant to expire and then announce it, even though her contract would have been terminated beforehand, because they don't want people, even though they'll all know, they won't want talent thinking, hey, we can get out of the contract early. If we got a good enough lawyer, they can get us out of this, because it looks like that is what's happened. We've talked loads about what Sasha Banks is going to do next. Let's not bother. Good luck to her, whatever she does next. It'll be interesting to see if the same fate comes to Naomi as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see, won't we?
We certainly will. We didn't have time to talk about this in the first video, but some new matches were added to Money in the Bank, or some new participants rather, added to Money in the Bank, and a match. So I'm not going to let you down there. On last week's show, you remember that Sheamus and Drew went to a double DQ in their qualifying match, and then Adam Pearce this week announcing that both Sheamus and McIntyre will be entrants into the men's match. They're joining Seth Rollins. There's 3 names in there right now. Out of that lot, it's Seth, isn't it?
I think Seth.
Yeah.
I think it's Seth.
Big old names there.
Yeah, they are. And you can't go wrong when Drew and Sheamus lock up in the ring, can you? Just know each other so well, always put on a good match.
Batter each other, nutters.
They had a really good match last week. It was just a shame about the double disqualification, but I mean, we're here now, aren't we?
I think that's done because they're missing half their roster at the moment.
That's true.
And they've released the other half. No, they've got those big names. So actually the double DQ was there to get both big names in there because they probably need them. On the women's side, Raquel Rodriguez scoring a win over Shayna to join Lacey Evans, Liv Morgan, and Little Miss Bliss in the match. Out of that lot, you want to take a punt now, quick?
Morgan. Or Evans.
See, I reckon Morgan. I think Bliss is in with a chance. Actually, any of those are in with
so far.
Not Evans. I don't want to see Evans do it.
No, but they've been building her up, Adam.
They have been building her up. They have. Also, a match announced prior to SmackDown going on the air last night. This was referenced on SmackDown, but the WWE Tag Team titles will also be on the line at Money in the Bank. It's going to be the Street Profits taking on the Usos. Who's going to leave with all the gold and silver?
Me. Not me. No, it's going to be
probably the Usos, isn't it? Probably the Usos.
It's going to be a good match regardless, though.
Yeah, they always put on bangers. There's nothing wrong about that. I'm not hyped for it anymore.
No. We've seen it so many times on Raw at this point.
Yeah, right.
But still, they're all good matches. That's the thing. Like, yes, we've seen it so many times on Raw, but yes, they always still put in an absolute banger.
Yeah, for sure.
Every single time.
They do. So, as it shapes up, and I balled this up a minute ago because I forgot a couple of the participants, but the current card is Sheamus, Drew, Seth, Nakamura, or Zayn, right?
That's
so
good.
There's no confirmed one yet. Plus 4 participants to be announced. The women's, as we just mentioned, Raquel, Lacey, Alexa, Liv, Asuka or Becky, Shotzi or Aaliyah, versus 2 extra participants to be announced. You got the Raw Women's title match, Rhea versus Bianca. You got Natalya versus Rousey for the SmackDown Women's, and then you got that tag match that we just talked about, the Street Profits versus the Usos. It's not a bad card at all.
It's shaping up quite nicely, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all right.
To say it's what? It's next week? No, the week after. Yeah, it's shaping up pretty well.
Yeah, you got Forbidden Door next week, and then
Money in the Bank.
After that, yeah. So this is. I guess this is unsurprising, but Dixie Carter is returning to Impact Wrestling for their Slammiversary show on Sunday night. I forgot about that. Didn't give props. Tom's doing live reactions, by the way, so check that out. Dixie Carter returning for an appearance at this Sunday's pay-per-view. She's going to be part of the celebration for the company's 20th anniversary. Can you believe it?
No.
She's done all sorts in Impact, good and bad. So she was there from 2003 till 2016. Could you believe? She was really criticised as an on-screen character. I think quite fairly. I think she was naff.
Yes.
And she really, really involved herself. It was cheap authority bollocks a lot of the time, but she was integral to the to both the promotion's growth and decline, I would argue.
Yeah.
Some of the decisions that she made were weird. Whatever. She's going to be there. She's going to say thank you. She's going to say 3 sentences. Hopefully no more.
Powerbomb through a table.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on.
Go on, buddy.
Go on.
So yeah, she's going to be there. The card is really, really strong for it. As I say, Tom's doing live reactions if you want to check out youtube.com/cultaholic/live. We are unfortunately finishing with some really, really sad news. A legendary referee, a man who has done so much in the business, has passed away. Dave Hebner has passed away at 73 years old, and we send our condolences to Dave's family and friend. Absolutely gutting news. A man who's been involved in so many matches. A total pro. Very, very good at what he did. Terrible news. So we send our condolences once again. Thank you very much for watching. I think we might be back with one more news video because there's still loads to talk about, and we don't want to go on for like half an hour on each video.
No.
So we'll be back. See ya.
Bye.